In this video, I'm going to show you how to combine your colored line drawing that you made in Illustrator with a photograph in Photoshop. This is an example of what your finished project might look like. First of all, you need to either go to the internet and find a copyright-free image that you would like to use, or use an image of your own. I chose to use this copyright-free image. So open up your image in Photoshop, then find the Layers panel. My Layers panel is already showing. If yours isn't, go to Window, Layers, and it will pop open. So down here in the Layers panel, at the bottom, choose the Adjustment Layers button, which is the half white, half black circle. So from that pop-up menu, choose black and white. If you need to, you can move these sliders around to change how the black and white affects the image. This image already looks fantastic, so I'm not going to bother to change it at all. So these are the basic preparations that I've made to get this image ready to put the colored lines on it. So now in Adobe Illustrator, open up your colored lines project, and also open the Layers panel. So the Layers panel here, the icon is overlapping little diamonds. And again, if it's not showing, just go to Window, Layers, and it will pop open. So I will click this icon to open the Layers panel. You can see that this layer 1 is expanded because this little icon here has been clicked. So you may have to click that to expand your layers so you can see everything. So what I'm looking for is the black background. I don't want to copy that and bring it over into Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is find it and then put a little padlock right here so that it's locked. Now I'm going to select all of these and copy and paste them into my Photoshop document. So to do that, I will select the the selection tool right here, and then click and drag a box around all of my lines, or you could push Control A on the keyboard. Now you can go to Edit, Copy, or Control C on the keyboard, and that has copied everything. Now I will go back to Photoshop, and you can either go to Edit, Paste, or Control V on the keyboard. Now, once you paste it, you get this option box here with four choices. And the one that I'm going to choose is Pixels, and then I will click OK. So this copies my lines in here, and you can see that it has this X and a box drawn around it. So while it's in this state, I'm going to go ahead and stretch it a little bit to make it the size that I want. I'm going to move it around a little bit, and I think I'm going to stretch it just a little bit more. So I'm going to push Control minus on the keyboard to shrink it slightly so I can see the handles and what I'm doing. And I like the way that looks. So now that I've done all of my editing, I can go ahead and click this check mark right here, and then that makes my selection or my edits complete. So now I want to make it look like these lines are behind this person, or I'm sorry, in front of them, in front of him in the landscape. So I want to erase these lines. But rather than come over here and to the toolbox and select the eraser tool, I'm going to use a better tool. And that tool is the layer mask. So over here on the Layers panel, down at the bottom, is this little icon that says Add Layer Mask. So I'll go ahead and click that. So you can see that in the Layers panel, this is my lines image, and this is the mask that was just added on top of it. And the mask is white. and it has these little white brackets around it indicating that it is currently selected. So what I'm going to do is in my color chips over here, I'm going to hit the little flipper arrow to flip the black to the top, and I'm going to choose the paintbrush. Make sure you don't choose this paintbrush with the little swoopy arrow. That is not the right tool. Make sure it's just a paintbrush by itself. So I have the paintbrush. If you need to change the size here or the hardness, you just open up this option here at the top. This looks like a good size, size 100, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So that I can see what I'm doing a little bit better on the keyboard, I'm going to click Control+ to make the image larger. Now what I'm going to do is very carefully go around with the white paintbrush and, black paintbrush, and I'm going to erase here around the edges, and I can really quickly make it look like these lines are actually going in front of the person. So just using this here, and let me get his arm. And that's pretty fast and easy for a rough job. So now let's look over here at the layers panel and see what happened. So in the layers mask, you can see all of this black area. That's the mask part. That's where I painted black, and it's covering the lines right there. So now what I want to do is refine this a little bit. So with the zoom tool, I'm going to zoom in on this, and I'm going to hold down the space bar to change the zoom tool to the hand tool, and then just click and drag this down where I can see it. So you can see that, you know, the ear is not so good. Right here on the shirt, I cut a little bit too much. So I'm going to get the paintbrush tool again and make it a little bit smaller. The brackets next to the P key, the left bracket makes it smaller, and the right bracket makes it larger. So I'm hitting the left bracket, and I'm just going to go ahead and clean up these lines here. But what happens when I want to actually add some back, like I made this mistake right here? So what I'm going to do is just use the little flipper arrow, the switching arrow, to switch the white back on top, and then I'll simply add this back in anywhere on the image where I went a little bit too far. So what that did over here in the layer mask was it painted back the white and revealed the colored lines behind it. So now I'll just go around this whole image, switching back and forth between the black and the white as necessary to refine the edges and make it better. So right here under his arm, I'm going to use the left bracket key to make my brush smaller, and I want to bring back whatever lines were underneath his arm. So there we go. And then on this side, I'm going to switch it to the black arrow. The black paintbrush. I'm going to use the right bracket to make the paintbrush size larger, and go ahead and clean this up. You can see here I covered up too much, so I'll switch it back to white and bring that back, and I will continue to just go around the whole image making those adjustments until it looks finished and I fixed all of my flaws. So make sure once you refine your image to save the project and title it. I'm going to call it colored lines with image and put my name on it also. And I have another version of this, so I'm going to call this one number 2. And I'm going to leave it as a Photoshop document, so I'll just click Save. Oh, before I click Save, I'm just going to double check that it's going to the folder that I want it to, so that next time I try to open it, I know where it's at and it's not saved in some random place. So I will click Save, and then Photoshop format options, I will just accept the defaults and click OK. So now what you should do is use the snipping tool and make a screen capture of this and put it into your portfolio so that you can get credit for it. That's it for now.